Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sixth Scale Symposium, episode 22. So sorry for the delay. I was having some technical difficulties with my mic. It was giving the other guys on the panel an echo. We had to fix that. So sucks that we're getting going late here, but maybe some of you have filtered in a little bit. So we have a great show tonight. I want to talk a little bit about the Dead Strange figure that was announced by Hot Toys. I want to talk about that episode that we got from Obi Wan Kenobi, episode 3, Darth Vader, baby. We got to talk about it. And I want to talk to the panel just about some things they've learned while collecting Hot Toys, what they're doing with the state of the world being with inflation, gas prices. How is that affecting their collecting hobby? Are they changing everything? And if we have time, if they own Hot Toys, what's one thing that they would do different? So we got a great show tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Before we introduce the panel, though, let's roll that intro. Yes. We've made it to episode 22. It almost didn't happen, but I wouldn't let it. So great show for you guys tonight. Before we get into the chat, I want to say hi to my panel. Introducing in the top right, a Sixth Scale Symposium veteran, I guess you would say. 1/6 figure focus, Mr. Shane. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. Good. Thanks very much for asking me. Love being on the Sixth Scale Symposium, and great to see Ty again and Jay, because I haven't streamed with either of them in a while, so it's brilliant. Really looking forward to the chat.
Awesome. And then the bottom left, we have Brother Cousins Toy Reviews. The guy that every time I see him, I see that DeLorean in the background. I really want it.
Yes.
Can't get it.
No, I can never get this right. Damn it. Opposite world. There we go.
How you doing, sir? I know we've been trying to hook up for a while. I'm really glad that you made the time to come on the show. So it's gonna be fun.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be here, man. I can't wait to talk about this good conversation tonight. Can't wait, man. I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
And last, but definitely not least, we have a newcomer to the show, Mr. Uncommon Flex himself, Ty, one of the great supporters of the channel. It was about time that we had him on here. So welcome to the show, Ty. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here with Brother Cousins and Shane, and I am really looking forward to having this conversation tonight.
All right. Well, we're gonna have some fun because that's what this is all about. But let's just dip into the chat here, see who we all have in the house. A good friend of mine as well. We have Big Breda in the house. Just missed Shane live stream, and now you guys running late. One of us should do a calendar with all the streams so we can keep it on track. I know, and with football season coming up too, I want to move mine to a Tuesday or a Wednesday, but it's like I don't want to go when other people have their streams either. So it's like, when do I find that time when no one else is streaming? Because there's just so many great content creators out there. So yeah, it's tough, but Doc Smizzle in the house. What's up, Doc? Got to have him on the show at some point as well. They've been having a chat here. We have Maverick Collector in the house. Daniel SC. Thank you for stopping in, Daniel. I always appreciate seeing you in the chat. We have Calvin Williams II. Good evening, everyone. Universal Key evening. How are you doing? We have an El Profesoro sighting. Yo, what's up, everyone? What's up, Mario? Good friend Mario. We have Bob Dylan in the house. Guess this is where the party is. Yes, we're going to have a party here tonight, so you're all welcome. There's going to be drinks. There's going to be good conversation. Spotchka. All right. Let's just start with the Marvel stuff, and I kind of have to start over with some of my screens and everything because I had it all up until I restarted my computer. So let me just pull this up quick. I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm sure you guys have been talking about it, but because my stream is on Monday nights, I haven't been able to talk about it with anybody yet. And that is the Dead Strange figure from Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Has all you guys seen this movie yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That I'm the only one that hasn't.
Really?
I was gonna go see it the first week it came out. work got busy, and then it got to the point where I'm just like, I'll just probably wait until it comes out on video at this point. So I think it comes out on digital this month, right?
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
like I think 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I think
so-
it's the 20
Yeah.
something. Yeah, it's the 20.
So at this point, you know, it is what it is. I'll see it eventually, but so don't worry about spoilers or anything with me. But Shane, I'll start with you. We'll just go right down. What do you think of this figure? This is definitely, in my opinion, this is something different than what we've seen. This is like on a whole new level.
Yeah, I did not like the movie at all, but I really like this. I actually think like the head sculpt on this is better than the makeup that was on Benedict in this particular scene in the movie. Yeah, this is very unique. Like it's definitely, it's not for me. I'm not collecting anything from this particular movie, which will tie into things I've learned about collecting hot toys, which we're going to discuss later on. But the positives are, I just think, head sculpt, detail, those wings, it's going to look pretty stunning. It's unique. If people are into horror, like I could go on and on and on. I just think I think it's an amazing looking piece, but I'm just not going to pick it up because I didn't like the source material. But yeah, a lot of people are going to be very happy with this, I think.
Ty, is this something that you think you're going to pick up?
So, no. Uh, I think it's a beautiful figure, like the design and the artistry that it takes to do something like that. It's awesome, but I've kind of moved away from MCU stuff. I liked the movie. I did like the first Doctor Strange movie better though. But I did like this movie. It's pretty good, but yeah. And I also don't like the price of this figure. You know, I think that's bumping up in the Iron Man territory, and so that's a big no for me.
Can you refresh the chat on what the price is?
It's what, 385?
Yeah, that's dicey.
Yeah.
That there's things up there.
I mean, especially for, this isn't, like you said, this isn't an Iron Man figure. This is like, I guess you could say a variant of Doctor Strange. So, Jay, what are your thoughts? And do you think there's going to be a pretty big market for this?
I think it is. I think it's going to be a big market for it because the fact of it is,
Cool.
it's a horror figure, right? It's very unique. And I think you're gonna get people that are like that just like horror that would get this figure.
Okay.
I know like Anthony, Sixth Scale Mafia. I know he's real stoked about getting this figure. And I know he really wasn't too into the Doctor Strange, the regular Strange that we got a couple weeks pre-order that we got a couple weeks ago. That was announced a couple weeks ago.
Right.
This one really looks good. I like I said, I think it's going to be a big market for the people that are horror fans and that are big on the MCU. I've kind of said it on a bunch of streams before. I kind of think we're at I'm not going to say the MCU is dead or anything like that, but I'm going to say that we're in a real weird transition with the MCU.
Right.
It's like, I think Endgame took the wind out of everybody's wings. I mean, Endgame was so massive and so amazing.
It was their peak.
It was the peak. It was the peak. It was the crescendo of the whole thing. It was the end, of that arc. And I think with the figures coming out so late, and we're still actually waiting on Endgame figures, and it's been, oh my God, 4 years later. So I think people are kind of like, a little. They've moved on, so to speak. They moved on, but I don't think the MCU is dead or anything like that.
Right.
I just think it's in a transition. Once we get X-Men or Fantastic Four, I think it's going to pick back up again, and But right now, Star Wars is all the rage. With that being said, this figure right here, I like it. I like it because it is unique. It's a different take on Strange. I think there's really not that much different from the 3-4 releases we got of Strange. I'm still rocking the first Strange from the first movie. The one I got. I didn't even upgrade to get the Infinity War one or so I didn't even get that one is they're all great figures, but they were so close to, it's not that much. You get the different magical effects with different releases. It's like all that's different. And then you have the No Way Home one as well that comes with the cauldron and all the, you know, mystical effects and everything. Like I said, it's not that much difference. With that being said, I think adding this one to my collection would be substantial. And I think the whole thing with it being the price, I get it. I get where people are coming from. I mean, it is a little pricey. It's not an Iron Man figure, but you're getting a lot. You are getting a lot. I mean, the sculpting, the hands,
It's all new.
the soul, and it's all new. You know, it's all new technology. It's not new technology, but it's all new sculpting and everything. New outfit, new head sculpt. I mean, and then, like I said, with all the souls of the damned and everything, you're getting a lot of sculpted pieces to go along with it. But outside of that, on the flip side, you're not getting too many accessories. So that's another thing to point out. If you look at that, you get, you know, you get a various different poses. You get some hands, but you're not getting a lot. But you are getting a lot of sculpted pieces. So
Right.
it really just, I think this just it's either for you or not. And I think that's just what it is with that.
You're getting boots. Look, see, there's boots there.
They kill me with that.
we gotta have a picture of something here, guys. Come on, throw
Right,
something
right.
in there.
Look at the boots. Like, come
The
on,
shoes.
call it a costume. Come on. Come on. But come on, Hot Toys. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I think I'll get it, but it'll be something, put it like this. It won't be a thing that I would rush out and get from like Hong Kong or anything like that. This would be something that I would, you know, put on pre-order and gradually get it, pay it off, and get it and wait, you know, however long it takes to come from Sideshow. It's nothing that I just have to have. I'll say that. It'll eventually be in my collection, but it's not anything that I need to go out and grab right away.
Okay. So this isn't the figure that I'm gonna get because just with everything going on in the world, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, I'm just being super selective with what I'm getting going forward. So space is kind of at a premium, and then money is kind of at a premium as well these days. So I'd rather fill up my tank than buy a new figure, and it's kind of coming down to the same cost pretty soon here.
That's the truth.
But Shane, this figure does kind of speak to me though, in a sense where I'm not always all about the accessories, and if the figure has all of this detail and all of this just awesomeness to it, and it's so unique, I gravitate towards the figure itself because I mean I love having accessories like with my Joker, my DX8 Joker, my DX9 Batman, but let's face it, most of them stay in the box. So is this at least something like, would you say that you gravitate more towards what the figure looks like or what kind of accessories come with it, or obviously a mix of both?
I think.
Are
Yeah,
you a
like
guy that needs
the
accessories?
the main course is the figure, really, like,
Right.
you know, everything else after that is a bonus, like, but like for me, the first thing I look at when I see a figure is obviously the head sculpt, the proportions of the figure. You know, does it look like, because like, say if you take someone like an obvious example is the Batman. Like 99% of the time when he's on screen in the movie, you know, he has the cowl on, he has the cape on, he has the general outfit, and then he uses the accessories from time to time. So they have to nail those parts, and then the accessories are kind of like the icing on the cake. Like, but I don't want to dial back on the accessories either. Like, you know, those things
Right.
do kind of matter. Like, you know what I mean? Especially now when you have other companies coming in, they're going to do the same thing. Like we've seen, you know, Pennywise during the week. We've got now a Hot Toys Pennywise, and now we have an inner Pennywise. And I'm kind of going, what are they going to do differently? Is it just going to be rooted hair and accessories? So yeah, look, I think this has enough, though. I do think this has enough. Like when I think of this in the movie, I don't. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention, but maybe I think it has everything that this character used in his scenes in the movie. So I think this is enough, you know. Like what else could they have added? Like he has the
Right.
wings, he's got the skulls creeping out of his like chest and cavities, and he's got all the extra arms, and yeah, it looks. I think he has everything. Like,
I will say this. So obviously, yeah, he doesn't come with a whole lot, but I don't mind getting a figure if it's got less accessories. However, for this figure, even though it looks really cool and really detailed, I do still think the price is a bit too high for what you're getting. Like, and that's subjective, obviously. People disagree, and
I completely agree.
that's fine. But
It's very expensive.
you know, and I agree with Jay that right now it's just not Marvel's time, and things go like this. And right now we're just riding the wave of Star Wars. So, Ty, is this a figure that you think is gonna just kind of sit on the shelves at Sideshow for a while, or do you think it'll sell pretty good?
I think it's probably gonna sit a bit. Um, just like we were just saying, that high price tag, Marvel's kind of like on the low end of the curve now compared to Star Wars. It's just kind of a bad time for it.
Right.
So I think eventually, people are going to pick up on it and say, hey, maybe once it comes out for homes and streaming services, then they'll say, hey, maybe I want this guy. Um, but it's also going to be a while probably before we even see it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and so probably maybe by the time it does come out, there'll be a resurgence for Marvel, and it'll pick up some steam then. The one thing I think about, like when we talk about accessories, like you said, Graham, most of the time they just stay in the box,
Right.
and I think it's like a perceived value when you see a whole bunch of things around the character. You're like, oh, this is worth the money because he comes with so much stuff, even though I'm not going to use most of that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I think he'll be there for a while. I don't think there's any rush to go out and
Right.
get him.
Well, that's a good point too, where you talked about kind of bad timing, where Star Wars is just we're just getting hit with Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. This thing might get buried in all of the Star Wars avalanche, and people might just forget about it. So I think that's a really good point too. You know, maybe like Jay said, maybe you just wait and see, let it go to Sideshow, let it, maybe you get that 10-15% sale, that free shipping, and then it seems to be a bit better of a buy. But obviously, if you're a huge Doctor Strange fan, go ahead and pick this up if it's that important to you. But I think for all of us, it's a pass, at least for now. But I think Jay might sneak this guy into his collection eventually.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, bringing it. Because, I mean, you bring this in with Wanda, and I am going to get the new. I know at least I'm getting the regular Strange that they announced from Multiverse of Madness, just because I like the red piping on the costume. I think it's the most accurate, comic book accurate version of his costume. So I think I'll end up getting that one. But I mean, who knows? This may be a pass. It just depends on where I'm at in the
Right.
collection at this time. Because I mean, I do think it's gonna be more things to come out. And this may be a figure that we're sitting back, and once it releases, it'll sit for a while and then it's gone, and then it ends up becoming, a grail of some sort, or not a grail, but I'll say a chase figure. It usually
I could
happens
see
like
that.
that. So I could see this being it because it's so unique. And I think that's the thing that draws me to it, because it is unique. Because we really don't get any real monsters or anything like that. The blend of horror and superhero stuff is, it's kind of a rarity. So to get that, maybe it may be in the collection, maybe not. 50-50 at this point.
It looks really, really cool.
It does. It just doesn't mean anything to me, unfortunately. But
Exactly.
but I can really admire it from a
Hmm.
distance, and I can see why people would like it. So
Definitely.
really quickly, I just want to say hello to Riley Reviews. He says, "What's up, guys? The
Riley.
young wizard is in the house. What's going on, sir?" And I thought I missed somebody else here as well. Primetime Reviews, where's he at? Oh boy, you guys are somewhere around here. Well, Primetime, here we are. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. What is going on, sir? We might have him on the show next week. So yeah, just stay on the lookout for that. So many great collectors and content creators out there that it's hard to get everybody on the show all the time. But
You
I
have to
want
have
to
more
change
shows.
gears here. Yeah, I know, right? If I had more time, I guess that would be that'd be awesome. I want to change gears, and I want to talk a little bit about Obi Wan Kenobi episode 3, your reaction and thoughts. Shane, you've seen it, right? Oh, thank the Lord. We almost had a segment that I couldn't talk about.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
So if you guys haven't seen it, just watch out for spoilers. We might talk spoilers here. Obviously, it's been out for almost a week, so hopefully you've had time to catch up. But I want to talk about it because there's I thought it was really good overall, and I think it was my favorite episode thus far, and I really enjoyed the Darth Vader scenes. But there's a lot of, I guess, divisive conversation about what happened towards the end between Vader and Obi-Wan, where people said maybe Vader was too timid. Why didn't he use the Force and jump over the fire, or bring Obi-Wan back with the Force? If he really wanted him, why did he just let him go? Is he afraid of fire? His suit should be able to go through fire. All of this stuff going on and why this happened. But first, Shane, I just want to start with you and ask what you thought of the episode, and if you had any highlights that stuck out to you that you really enjoyed, or if you hated it, and what stuck out that you hated.
So are you talking to me or?
Yes.
Oh, right, yeah, Grant. Sorry, I coughed there at the end of the episode. I loved it. I liked the first 2 episodes. I thought they were maybe 4-star each, and then this one was just like, my main concern with this show was that I was really worried, would this go into the same category as the prequels or a lot of Book of Boba, the bad category, but I really do think this is in the same category, in my own opinion, as original trilogy, Mandalorian, Rogue One. That just solid Star Wars content. That was my main it was nearly relief, the first 2 episodes. Like, God, how good, thankfully. But this one now it really delivered. Where do we even start with it? Trump card, I think, is Ewan McGregor's acting. He looks like a man who's absolutely tortured, suffering from PTSD or the emotional trauma of mutilating his brother and best friend and thinking he's dead for 10 years. Completely out of practice, hasn't been using the Force, really in this zone of he just looks, he's doing a great job at getting that across. I think the kid, that young Leia, absolutely nailing it. Some of the feisty little comments, I was like, Carrie Fisher, reincarnate. I think if she was alive, God rest her, rest in peace, I think she'd be very proud of this kid. The kid's nailing it. It's not just the lines, because if you don't have good lines, let's face it. I mean, there was a lot of talk about sand and Attack of the Clones that I cannot watch. But here, they've got the script and they've got the delivery, and it's I really liked it. I will touch on the point with Vader. So I presume you're talking about the fire, and why didn't he just right?
He just watches him go.
His home now is in Mustafar. His throne, his lair, his really cool looking epic kind of base, like Mordor-esque, overlooking where he got mutilated. Surely to God, that is the Emperor doing that. So every single day he looks out there and he thinks about that and gets filled with more hatred and gets more powerful and more powerful. I think he really wants to enjoy torturing and killing Obi-Wan. So he let him go. I think no doubt he could have quenched that fuel or walked through it. But I think, no, I've got you, and I'm going to feed off this even more. I'm going to become more powerful. I think he's arrogant enough to know he's going to run into him again. And now Obi-Wan probably wants to. The Jedi will hunt themselves. He'll come right back to him. No, I think they nailed it. If I had to critique a little bit, when Obi saw him first and he lit up the lightsaber and then he kind of ran away again, I get that he's probably scared. He probably doesn't want to go down this path again. I get why it had to happen. There's a bit of Michael Myers running, walking going on. There was a bit of that. You can't outrun Michael Myers, but he's not going to. There was a bit of that. And it was kind of cool as well. Minor criticism. And even minor criticism about episode 2. It's the unnecessary parkour. And again, that is not the actress's fault. That is the direction there. But it doesn't make a bit of difference. It's the same as the unnecessary running for Leia. She didn't decide on that. It was just a silly little misstep doesn't really matter to the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I'm sold so far. I just hope they keep up the standard for
I
the next
know.
3.
Yeah.
People talking about season 2. Forget about season 2.
Yeah.
Let's watch the next 3 episodes and
Right.
enjoy them. And
Yeah.
I'd rather them nail the 3 of these than drag out 3 seasons of crap. I hope they keep. I'm happy with it so far.
Yes.
Brother Cousins, Shane brought up Riva and kind of taking direction instead of her, doing things maybe on her own that people don't like. She's just taking direction. But I actually thought she was really good in episode 3. I want to get your take on Riva and how you thought she did in episode 3, and then just overall your general thought for episode 3.
With Riva, I've said it before on other streams. In the first episode, I thought it was kind of her weakest, because I just didn't know what to expect. And I remember watching it, I was like, not sure if I like this character just yet. And I didn't know if I was saying that just because of the fact that she's a new character. And that's just a thing that happens with Star Wars. I think when us Star Wars fans see characters that we don't recognize right away, we're kind of skeptical, like, what is this about? And then also, I don't know, I'm not going to bring any spoilers, but I think some spoilers, I think we all kind of know about spoilers that was leaked weeks before the series even came out. So with that information, I was kind of like, let's see where this goes. But I didn't like it at first. I think the second episode, I think she was much stronger. I did not like the whole popcore what's the name of that movie? Underworld thing that she was doing there. I thought that was not.
Underworld.
It was Underworld. I was like, Celine. I was like, okay, she's the Black Celine. I get it. But and I guess they wanted to show that, hey, she's a former Jedi. I guess they wanted to show us that, and I'm just like, that's cool, but it's different ways you can do that. Once again, that's not a hit on the actress or anything like that. The things I like about her, I mean, come on, a sister dressed up as an Inquisitor with a lightsaber. I mean, come on, it's amazing visually. I'm like, oh wow, this is awesome. It ticks all the boxes, but that also is kind of the problem. It's like, okay, you're ticking all the boxes, great, but are you giving us a good character?
Right.
That's my thing. With it, but I thought she was way better in episode 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that had anything to do with Vader's presence, and then even her trying to bring up the whole, like, hey, the Grand Inquisitor, and then Vader it was almost like Vader was telling not just her but the whole audience, like, hey, the Grand Inquisitor doesn't matter, okay? It's on you right now. And it's like, oh wow, and it was cold. And overall with her, I thought she did better. I mean, and it's in the kind of, and the more it's like, at first my first reaction is like, I don't know about this, but then the more I watch it, I'm tending to think like, okay, where are we actually going? Where is this going? Okay, let's see where this goes. Let's give this a chance. And I think that's where my mindset with her and her character is right now. It's like, before I harshly judge it just because it's a new character or a character I'm unfamiliar with, let's see where the story goes. I think that's fair enough, and I think that's all of us in the community, and not just in the in watching this as a community or as a community of fans. I just think we need to go. Let's ride this wave. Let's see where it goes before we're like, going crazy with it and everything. And that's just where I'm at with her character. Now, the episode, I did not expect for us to get this much damn Vader in one episode. I was actually taken aback. I was like, oh, really? Oh, I thought we was going to get little hints. We're going to see him walk. I thought we were going to get that scene that we kind of saw in the trailers with him, getting all put together, all pieced together and all put together, and then coming out of the back of the tank, and then, see him walking like a badass towards the camera, and that was it. We would move on. That's what I thought we were going to get. To see him in Mustafar, and to see him talking to Reva, and then to get like Shane was saying, to get that Michael Myers Jason effect, was just like, damn, it really made you feel like, oh wow, this dude's a badass. This is Vader. And what I liked about it, it's like they took Hayden, because that's him in that costume. They took Hayden. It was like, okay, You got to get the walk down. You got to do the Proust. You got to walk like Proust. You got to do it. And he had that shit down. He walked because Vader has a little pimp with it. You know, he has a walk with him. And he walked, and I was like, oh, that's Vader. It's Vader. I really got that feeling that, like, damn, that's Vader is back. And I mean, back and just choking people with the I mean, they really set it up. I mean, you can feel, and once again, shout out to Ewan McGregor's his acting ability, because you just get the sense of, oh my god, you just get that sense of terror, and not just terror, but just terror, doubt, just being upset, the fact that he did, you know, that the guilt, all of that being all pulled in, you feel it all at once. Like, damn, I made this monster. Oh, but I couldn't stop him. But how can I stop him? And can I even stop him right now? And I think that's why, you know, you see him put on the lightsaber, which is a reaction to, you know, to protect and you know, and be one with the Force. But he's rusty. And I think also seeing Vader toy with him. That's the thing. People are like, oh, why did he let him go like that? He's toying with him. He knows, like, oh, he can feel it he can sense his anger. He can, I mean, not his anger, he can sense his fear. He can sense it. He can sense that he hasn't been connected to the Force like that. He senses that guilt. Everything that we saw, all those emotions we saw Obi Wan convey, Vader can sense all that. So he's like just toying with one hand, with like, you ain't nothing. You ain't nothing, Jack. And he let him go because he wants him to be like, he wants to toy with him. He could have set him on fire right there, used the Force to set him on fire, kill it, done, and that's it. He wanted them to feel an ounce, just not even an ounce, an inch of what he felt when he was in that pit, when he was cut in half and left for dead. He wanted him to feel all that. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I mean, I love the episode. I can't wait. I just can't wait to see where we go next week.
Yeah, I have to say, sorry, just my favorite part, actually, it's so dark, but my favorite part was when Vader was like killing everyone in the village. Like,
yes.
I know it's so dark, like, but it's just like, oh god, he's twisted. He is twisted. He was tearing people apart. Like, you know, it was just like, I was mad. Like,
well, I think the other thing too is the last time that Anakin and Obi-Wan met, Anakin rushed to do what he could to try and defeat him. He was too quick to the draw, I guess, if you would say. So I think this time, it's 10 years later, he's learned to kind of reserve himself a little bit and hang back. And I think he knows, like Jay said too, I think at this point he knows he's the more powerful being, but he's not just going to rush into something and get all of his limbs chopped off again, or, you know, miscalculate the battle or something like that. So, Ty, when Jay was talking, he brought up the Grand Inquisitor. I want to ask you what you thought about the episode 3, but also, do you think the Grand Inquisitor is actually dead?
It seems to be an ongoing thing in Star Wars where no one really dies. So I'm gonna say no. That I mean, they killed him off pretty quickly. I don't think that's how it's gonna end up. I think, you know, he's gonna come back in some way, shape, or form at some point. I don't think he's dead. But as far as the episode goes, like when I went into this series, just like I had no preconceived notions. I just wanted to be entertained. Let's see what happens. You know, I wasn't worried about, oh, Book of Boba Fett was terrible, so this, you know, whatever this is. And I am pleasantly surprised. Like, this thing is like, we had the Mandalorian, we had Book of Boba Fett, and now we have this. Like, this one is up there. You know, it's pretty tight. It's not perfect. You know, there's some moments where, you know, how come no one can catch this little girl, you know, even when she's standing right next to them.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like, what was that? But, you know, so like someone said in the chat that they just can't do chase scenes. And I think they just can't do chase scenes.
Vespas.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So like overall, especially with this last episode, like the way I always saw Boba Fett was, you know, he was this badass. We always, you know, they made us think that this is like the baddest bounty hunter in the galaxy. Darth Vader kind of has that same reputation where you don't mess with Vader. Like, he is ruthless. He will destroy you. Like, everyone's afraid of him. And now we get to see it. Like we saw Rogue One, what he did at the end, but now we get to see how he earned that reputation.
Right.
Like the tension that was in this episode just blew me away. Like I've watched this thing, I gotta say, like 3 or 4 times already. Like I just watched it again yesterday. The tension, just him walking and breathing, it was like a horror movie when he was coming after Obi Wan. Like I felt that, like, oh man, like Obi Wan, you probably need to run because you ain't ready for this. You ain't ready for this guy. He means business. Like he is not playing. He is angry. And I do agree, like, I think he's toying with him. I think at first that rage was there where he wanted to kill him right then and there. But then when the fire got between them, I think he thought, nope, I'm going to let this play out a little bit. I'm going to let you go back and think of how I just beat you, how I just whooped your ass with one arm. I
Right.
want you to think about that,
Mhm.
that you won't beat me.
Well, he wants him to be
Yeah.
scared. I mean, that's what the Sith do. They feed on fear, and
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see what we get for the next 3 episodes, and we get episode 4 in just a couple of days. So it's really exciting. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to Dante, Man of Hot Collectibles, in the house. What is going on, sir? Thanks for stopping into the channel. Appreciate you. People in the chat have had some good points too, or some good topics of conversation. So I'm just gonna bring them up, and we can just kind of jump in at will here. But let me get there.
One thing I do want to say too is having that one director. I still feel like having one director do the series is better than having too many hands in the pot.
I agree.
Like because you have
Totally agree.
that one vision.
Yep.
Yeah, I
it's
think
paying off.
I think that really, really hurt the Book of Boba. Just having too many hands in the cookie jar. Because you want that one vision. You want that one person's vision to be what drives the show, instead of people, oh, I'm going to do this episode, I'm going to do that one. I mean, except for when maybe Bryce Dallas Howard directs a show. I mean, then it's a little bit different.
I'm so
but
surprised
Feature.
it
He do
worked
what
so
he wants
well
to do.
for The Mandalorian. I'm really surprised it worked as well as it did for The Mandalorian.
right,
Didn't they have different directors as well? Different, like it worked so well. It looked like they were part of one cohesive story. Whereas Book of Boba was just like, what?
right.
You know?
Right.
So, a Duck Collector here, he says, people were pissed how Vader treated innocent bystanders in the village. He would never do that. I'll just jump in really quick first. If you guys watch the original trilogy, he's killing henchmen left and right.
Yes.
With the Force.
He's very
jokes
impatient in the office, all right? Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised Disney showed us that, to be honest.
Fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The mouse must have been out of the office that day. Like this. You want him to do what? I was like, what?
But even
Well-
what happened to that stormtrooper when Kenobi, when they were fighting him, like what happened to him at the gate?
Got cut in half.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised they showed that.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Well, and I was actually entertained. I thought the whole episode was really good. I was on the edge of my
Yes.
seat, like watching Obi-Wan and Leia, like it was tense. It was pretty cool. I thought it was a really great episode through and through.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's when I think of Vader, I think of him doing that stuff because he is so enraged and angry, and he's in pain 24/7 too. Like,
Exactly.
if you guys don't ever watch like Star Wars Theory on YouTube, this guy is like, he lives Star Wars, and he reads all the comics, he does all the canon stuff, like he knows it.
Yes.
And he'll talk about the suit and how it runs, and just how Emperor Palpatine wanted to make it painful to keep that rage in Vader going.
He's tortured. I mean,
right.
inside, to us on the outside, he's a badass, but inside, he is tortured.
Right.
Yeah.
And something that I never thought of too is he's still, even though Padme's dead, he's still trying to find a way to bring her back, is what I've heard as well, which also drives him. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of good stuff. It's weird how deep you can dive into Star Wars. I mean, you can really drown in it. So, Maverick says, yeah, he's totally playing with them. Nicolio the Great and Powerful, the next snap, genuinely shocking. Yeah. Like I said, I was surprised Disney put that stuff in there. That was but again, too, I think correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I thought he was trying to get a react. He knew Kenobi was there, and he was trying to
Yes,
get a reaction out of him
He
so he
was.
could pinpoint
I
him. He's
agree
like,
with
"Hey,
you.
what are you gonna do to stop me?"
It
Mhm.
ties
Dragging
into
people along.
it ties into the first episode as well. The Jedi will hunt themselves. It's
Yeah.
actually very seamless. I'm gonna do this. You're gonna come out, and I'm gonna slice through you like butter. It was very good. The whole hanging scene, or even when he was walking away and the person was dragging behind him, he wasn't even looking at him. Yeah, that was creepy, man. It's just
Well,
creepy, and I
too,
loved it.
in what Revenge of the Sith, like what Mario was just saying, like Anakin started out by killing the younglings,
Yeah.
so he's killed kids.
Mm.
Right.
So if you think about that,
He's
that was him beginning his road as Vader. Before the costume, he started out by slaughtering children.
Not a fan of Tusken Raiders either.
No,
Right.
That's right there. I don't know if you guys watch it, but the way it should have ended, they did the whole thing of like the whole Star Wars saga. And that was one thing that they like after he goes and he tells, Padme about killing the Tusken Raiders. I slaughtered them. I slaughtered the women and children and all that. And then she's like, okay. That being with this guy.
And it turns out she was just more in love with him after that.
Right.
Maybe she doesn't like them either.
Ooh, there you go.
She puts out this, very cool, calm, morally okay exterior, but maybe she was dark too.
Maybe.
you never know, baby.
We have a super chat from Superhero Displays. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. They say I only loved every damn moment of episode 3. It was really good. Yes, I completely agree. Can't wait for what else they have in store. Hopefully they can keep that momentum going. But thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. So my other question before we kind of move on, and it kind of goes back to Riva. I'm wondering if she has. I mean, obviously the show's about Kenobi, but I'm wondering if she has one of the bigger character arcs. Do you guys think that maybe she comes back to the good side and winds up helping Kenobi in some way? Or any thoughts on Riva's arc? Or do you think she's just a side character that's doing her thing?
I don't think she's a side character.
Yeah,
I think she was a
she is
Padawan.
Yeah.
I think she was in the temple and she was there and she saw Anakin. She wants to kill Vader. She's letting on that she's hunting Kenobi for him, but Kenobi is her way to get one shot at Vader, and I don't think it's going to work out for her.
That's interesting.
And I thought, sorry to talk out of turn, but I thought about that, Shane, and I was thinking about that, but I'm like, wouldn't Vader know? Like, how is she able to mask that? Because couldn't he like tap into the dark side of the Force to realize that, yeah, she's playing him, a little bit or something like that?
I don't know. Is that something that they'll overlook, or like maybe I'm could be way off? Like, I don't think her story arc is that simple. Like, I really don't think it's going to be she's just going to come good, and like, because I the first 2 episodes, she's like really impatient.
Yeah.
And she's not a follower. She doesn't like the rules. She has her one goal. She's so obsessed with Kenobi. And I was like, why is she so obsessed with Kenobi? Like, it has to be, she has Kenobi, her getting to Kenobi has to mean something for her. I don't think it's just that she wants to kill him. I think it's too obvious. That'd be too one-dimensional, wouldn't it? Like,
I think, I mean, it's obvious that she was, I can't say it was because the first scene we see in episode 1, we see the key of the little young black youngling. That I'm like, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's Riva. That has to be her right there. I think it has something to do with. I think somehow when she got out that temple, it could have. I don't know. Maybe they took some Padawans and was like, okay, these are the ones that these are the ones we sense that are highly force sensitive and that can be very powerful and that we can persuade to the dark side. So we're going to take a handful of them. Hence, why maybe she has some type of connection with with Vader, but
Mhm.
also maybe she looks at Vader, she looks at Kenobi, and she's mad at Kenobi and blames Kenobi for being responsible for how Anakin turned out. Because if he would have trained better, if he was a better teacher under, a better teacher, he probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have come out the way he is. So she's probably like, okay, I'm aligning myself with this, with this evil, but this all wouldn't be if it wasn't for Kenobi. So Kenobi's the real evil. It's kind of crazy, but who knows,
But do you know the way people were saying like she was overacting like that? What I think is that she's trying to be put out to the Inquisitors that she's like, so there's no doubt in their minds that she hates Kenobi and wants him. Because did you see? Now maybe I'm reading into this, but do you know the really good like office scene in episode 3 where I think it's the second brother puts her hands out and kind of controls her, and he's basically saying that Grand Inquisitor spot is mine, and she's like, no, it's mine. There's a scene where she looks like she's getting angry, and I think she puts her hand down. I think she's almost like going for a saber, but then she tells her, "Well, I was speaking to Vader," and she uses her mind instead of using the saber. Have a look at it. I've watched it twice. I can't pick up if I'm reading too into it, but they show her belt area, and I think you can see the saber. She has kind of the round saber on the side, but it's almost like she was considered going for it, but then she calmed down a bit, and then she went, "Well, I was talking to Lord Vader," and it just seems like she's kind of hurt. She's already developing. You know what I mean? I genuinely think that there's something. It can't be as simple as her being good underneath it all. It'd be just too boring, wouldn't it?
No.
She's
know?
definitely got rage, and I
Right.
think when you mentioned how come Vader isn't sensing if she's got some ulterior motives, he's probably just sensing her rage, and he's full of rage too. So he's probably just leaning into that and not really paying attention because he's not seasoned right now. He's trying to cope with this new suit, Padme, Obi Wan, all this stuff's going on, and he's consumed with this rage. So he's not thinking clearly either.
And that makes sense because, like, I don't know, like, can they actually read minds? Because remember in Return of the Jedi, he says your thoughts betray you, and then he says sister. So
Sister.
that is his first time. I think that's Vader's first realization that he has two children. So, and he only realized that then. So wouldn't he be able to read his mind like maybe quicker earlier on? So maybe he's not there yet. Like maybe you can't read details. You like you said, just sense emotion or rages or whatever. I definitely think she's got. I really hope it's not as simple as her. Like she's now turns good. Like it's. I think it'd be lazy writing.
Pretty deep. She's pretty deep. Especially as a villain. Like you can just see she's got something going on, and you just want to know what the hell's going on with her.
Right.
Like,
I think Daniel has the best take here probably, and he says, "I think Reva just has the hots for Vader and is trying to impress him."
That too?
Is he looking? Into your mind?
You see me right now?
Yeah. Also, this is a bit of a Halo reach, but do you know? Is it the third brother or the second brother?
Third, right?
Is it the third brother? Do you know the way like his hat comes straight out and goes around? It's almost like mushroom-esque.
Yeah.
Very like the Padawan's hats. I know that's a total Halo reach, but they're just the shape is so similar. Like it's almost like an Inquisitor vibe.
He makes me think about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's what I was
thinking.
Too.
He does.
So really quick before we shift gears here, obviously we're getting figures. What are you guys most looking forward to as a figure from this show? And Ty, we'll start with you. What's the one figure you want to see from this show?
So this might sound too simple, but Vader. Like I don't have a Hot Toys Vader. I missed out on him. And like I have a sideshow one, Return of the Jedi, and he's okay, but I'd really like to have a newer Hot Toys Vader. Just seeing that, even the other ones compared to the sideshow, you can see a difference in it.
Right.
And the other thing, if I could say another one,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan
Absolutely.
and Riva. There we go.
Well, and obviously we'll for sure get the Obi-Wan and the Vader. They
Yes.
showed the Vader. It's pretty much the Rogue One reissue, but we could get another Vader too if we see more in the future here, maybe a battle damage or something like that.
That's what I wanted to say. Like if we could get like a head sculpt with
Right.
with him, all messed up and everything, that would be awesome. Like
Well-
even like a broken helmet or something.
And they didn't just bring Hayden Christensen back just to be in the suit. I would think they're going to utilize him for a couple scenes at least
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
helmet off, like, and him actually speaking maybe, or I don't
Yeah,
think
'cause
they just
anyone
brought him
could
back
be-
for the Bacta tank or even just to be in the suit.
I think
anyone
if
could
we
be in the suit.
if we don't get, because we know on a lot of these shows it's becoming a trope with a lot of like these, whether it be a Netflix show or a Disney Plus show, it's like the second to the last episode, they always do a damn flashback for some reason. They always
Right.
do it on these type of shows, and if they don't give us like, I know it'd probably be a lot to ask for, but a flashback of them like in the Clone Wars, like something that we never seen before, like something from like the Clone Wars that we would have seen in like the animated, but a live action version of it, and maybe de-age. They have the de-aging technology
Right.
now. Disney has the time machine, so it's not nothing for them to use it to break it out. If they don't do that, just to show that connective tissue, like the episode, it could be like the final episode right before the big fight, because they are going to fight again.
Right.
They could just show like, where they were at that time and where they are today or something like that. Like there's a thought going through Obi-Wan's mind or something like that. I think if they don't do that, they'll be missing a great opportunity to not do that. Because I can't see them bringing Hayden Christensen back just to be in the suit. Or
There's
like
got to be at least more, flashbacks or something.
flashbacks, or see the fight happen and the helmet,
Right.
get damaged, and we see, him speak underneath it.
That's just what I was gonna say. Like, you think when they have their next fight, like Obi-Wan gets a shot on him and like hits that helmet and takes part of it off, and you see Hayden Christensen.
Mm-hmm.
I would love a head sculpt like that. To
Well-
put in the detail.
And speaking of technology, I was wondering how they were going to do the voice of Vader, because I know James Earl Jones is getting up there. He's 90.
Yeah.
And I know when he did Rogue One, he sounded a little, the voice
sounded
gets
off.
older. They
Little
must have
off.
done some sort of digital enhancement this time too, because he sounded
There's a
really
technology
good.
called like Revoicer or something, where they record, like, I think they need like 2 hours of the person speaking, and from that they're able to basically make him say anything.
Jeez.
I think that is a reworder or something. It's a thing, like, yeah.
Yeah, because they kind of you do that with Luke too, like when they do the
Exactly.
de-age Luke, because
Exactly. He
it's
sounds
not
like an
an
old man
actor.
now.
It's they just take his voice, like Shane was saying, they just
It's a little
amazing.
monotone, but seriously, like the technology is just amazing. Just to have Luke in live action again, or still
Yeah.
have Vader, go on. So I'm not
It's
going to
sick.
complain, but I think
It's sick.
as we go, it's just going to get better and better, and that's just crazy to think
Absolutely.
about. But Big Breda says it's not him in the suit. I would say it is him in the suit, except for obviously those big fight scenes where they do need a stunt
stunts.
double.
of course.
But I've heard on multiple sources though that he is in the suit quite a bit.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong again, Joao, but I think you're wrong. And I'm gonna say it.
Well, he was in the suit.
Julian is always
Revenge
like
of the
this.
Sith, right?
But yeah, you guys are something else in the comments tonight. I love it. So Doug Collector says he's just waiting for a Grogu appearance in the show.
You cannot rule that out.
Let's get an Owen figure and label stand not a snitch.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're on fire. very much. So.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. But
cool.
Jay, what figure are you most looking forward to?
Oh man, I gotta go with Tao on this one. I want a Obi-Wan and I want a Vader. And that loader droid would be sick. That loader droid was cool.
Yeah.
With the wrench, because he was ready with that
Oh,
wrench.
he was cocked, man. He was cocked. He was ready
Now,
to go.
wasn't there a celebrity that played him? I thought I saw. I don't remember who, but
Really?
I'm not sure.
I saw it somewhere on the internet. But
He was about to ruin that stormtrooper's day.
yeah, I just love him seeing the grip.
Yeah, he was just talking. He was just talking shit, and he's just looking at him. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just a droid. I don't know anything."
Yeah, keep going. Keep
Keep it
talking.
up,
There's
keep
a
it up.
theory that it's not just a droid. I don't know, is it true or not or whatever? Like, but
I heard that.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
hear somebody say that during the
Yeah.
chat last week. They were saying it could be
Yeah.
somebody in that, like somebody in the suit or something like that.
as in, like, I haven't heard any. I've heard like zero spoilers. So what I heard was people were saying, they're just looking at the way the hands grip the wrench, and they were kind of saying, yeah, we know it could be like someone. If it is there, it could be someone in a droid suit. But just the way it was almost like shot to make it look a bit sus, and would explain like why the droid doesn't talk. You know, because it'd be a human voice. People would be like, all right,
Interesting.
Interesting.
He said, Trumbull Dust says, "Well, shit, the trooper stayed eyeballing him." LOL. Here's an interesting one from Sinister SMR. He says, "Done with Disney Star Wars. This series is a wasted opportunity. It should have been so easy to make this good. I don't know why they can't hire people who understand Star Wars." I think it's pretty good. I mean,
I think it's pretty good.
if you look at it, it's all filler. We know what happened before. We know what happens after. I mean, they're just. I get it. Like, it's kind of a money grab because they're.
It's a completely unnecessary show, but aren't we glad we have it?
Yeah, like
Yes.
I just love seeing it. Like if they make a Darth Vader series on just how him and Palpatine get along or don't get along, I'd watch that too. I mean,
I thought it would have been honestly one criticism with it, and I think, and this is totally not mine, but I watched Jeremy Johns. He's awesome film reviewer. You know, the guy with the red background.
yeah, he's fine.
And he said this in his review, and I've been thinking about it. It was like in a way, it almost seems like it was they had an idea to make two shows, one an Obi-Wan show, and then one in a show about the Inquisitors. And I think I would have liked if they just split it to be both, because I think there's a show about a Vader Death Squad and the hijinks that goes on between them. I think that's a good show. I think it's something worth watching. You know, well written. And then, you know, splitting them off would have been better than to have them like have this story kind of like muddled in like that. But, you know, once again, that's me looking at something. That's me viewing it right now off of 3 episodes and not looking at the whole complete story yet. So you know, that's just my thoughts on that.
He says we shouldn't have to settle for filler, but I mean, but if you look at it, kind of the whole show is a filler because we already know. I don't know. I mean, to each their own. I'm happy with it, but I get it. Like Book of Boba probably left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths as well.
Yeah, but I think we all can agree. This Book of Boba. I mean, it was not even arguably. There were problems with that. You can just see it. With this, I mean, yeah, it has some criticisms. Yeah, it has, you know, you got a little baby Leia with the cheetah feet and everything, and she's running like a little toddler, and it's like, hey, y'all can't catch a 5-year-old. Come on. But with that being said, I mean, we're getting quality. We're getting real good quality. I mean, look at the sets. Look at the. I mean, it's a feature. So
that's a different level of production.
Yeah, for sure.
In my opinion, like, and they're just entertaining me. That's all I want. Yeah. Entertain me.
Right. Shane, what's one figure you're looking forward to the most here?
What's this one talk about?
We're gonna be talking about one a lot tonight.
Look, I don't have a Vader in my collection, and if they're doing a 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi, which we don't know, will they? And it's so hard to predict, but they did for Empire, and look, it's an easy cash grab for them. I think that's the one I'd like because it's original trilogy. I can't say I want ending from this show unless I see the last 3 episodes. I need the last 3 to be on par with the first 3. Yes. So the show as a whole for me Like, I will not buy something for it unless the show as a whole,
Sticks the landing.
Right.
Exactly. Otherwise, I'll hold out and wait for the OT Vader. But if the next 3 episodes are of that standard and I'm happy with it, then I'll be like, okay, if the Vader that they teased in Star Wars Celebration, now maybe they're holding back on some battle damage pieces or a head sculpt, who knows? But if it's good enough that the layman sees it, oh, that's Darth Vader. But I know it's Darth Vader and it's actually Obi-Wan, because I can swap out these battle damage parts. I'm being really speculating here, but you get what I'm saying? So
Right.
it doubles as the traditional OT Vader to the untrained eye. And to be honest, I don't think if you could put a Rogue One and an Empire next side by side, I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference. I know there are people out there, but I'm a bit blind when it comes to the two of them.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vader. And yeah, I don't have an Obi-Wan, and I like his look in this. I think he's kind of, he's not young rat tail Obi-Wan, but yeah, he's not, Alec Guinness. He's a good kind of an age, and I think they could do the head sculpt very well. Cloak, decent head sculpt, give him a lightsaber. Happy days. Like, those two would be, yeah.
I got a
Um,
question.
yeah,
for
go
you
ahead.
guys. Do you think we'll get any of those dirty stormtroopers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would like
The
to.
remnant troopers through the roof, so
Yeah.
it's like $400. So
Like
it's an easy,
Yeah, watch them
fuzz
just
will
Easy money.
reissue that one
push
too.
out.
Nope.
Mhm.
yeah.
But the Vader, the Rogue One Vader, in my opinion, is the best Vader out there. But again, depends on your thoughts. But I just think it looks kind of like A New Hope, but it's shinier, it's cleaner. I love the gloves with like the ripple effects on them. I think they just add more character.
Hmm.
The dome kind of sits more forward, so it's more like menacing on the head sculpt, whereas the Empire Strikes Back one, it's kind of sitting back further.
Hmm.
So those are the little differences that I see that I really like the Rogue One Vader. So for anybody that did miss out on a Vader, and if we do get just kind of pretty much a straight reissue of Rogue One, I think it's a
I'll
great
take it.
figure to get. So be happy with that one. For me, it's if we can get a battle damage Vader, I might get another Obi-Wan. I do have Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. I've really been eyeing up that quarter scale Darth Vader as well in the secondhand market, but
Good.
it's
You and
not
me
the
both,
time to
man.
be buying right now because of all the
Yeah.
Vader stuff going. But
Yeah.
there's one, probably shouldn't tell Shane about this. There's one that ends tonight.
I saw
Um,
the cheapest I saw one was for like, I think it was like $680.
Just got to step out.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah, there's one that ends in 3 hours and 18 minutes. It's at $490, $50 shipping.
Wow. Wow.
And then there's a couple other ones. One 700
bad.
plus 50, and then one 750 and free shipping. It's
But how sick would we be if they go straight to at the end of the show, it's a hit, and you're like, oh, that was amazing, and then they give you the ultimate like quarter
quarter-scale Vader.
and you just bought. And it's just like,
I'd be happy though. I mean, I was kind of the same way with the Batman, the Dark Knight quarter scale. I knew there was a new one coming out, and I still picked this one up because I didn't want to wait the year and a half, and figured I'd cross that bridge when we get there.
why do I sense a lesson coming?
Well, speaking of lessons, guys, there is a lesson coming.
There it is.
And I have a question for you. What's the biggest thing or the biggest lesson you've learned from collecting 6 scale figures? Maybe a hard lesson that you've had to learn. I still consider myself the rookie. I've only been collecting for a couple of years, but I've learned a lot too. But Shane, I want to start with you. What's one of the big lessons you've learned from collecting that's maybe helped you continue collecting instead of dropping out?
Nothing is immune to reissue. Don't buy backwards. I'm just gonna, Leia is way too nice to me sometimes. He compliments going, oh, you're very disciplined. Like, you don't get sucked into FOMO. Well, let me tell you a tale. I have the DX19 here, and like, you know how I feel about the Dark Knight, and I worked backwards from the Devil's Workshop. I bought the DX02. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I'm so ashamed of myself. It was about,
It's okay.
I paid about $600 for it. It was just like,
It's a safe space.
I've worked backwards on I think 3 occasions, and 2 out of 3 worked out very well. That's going for $1,000 on eBay. I got it shipped for just under $400. I'll take that any day of the week. I love it. It's
Very
going
good.
nowhere.
Very good.
Original Shore Trooper, I got
Yeah.
for I think €180, which is about $180, $190. Like that was up around 600. Happy with that. But this one, not only did I overpay for it, it was new in box and all that, but it was a horrible figure. I took it out of the box. I was the only time I was disappointed. It was thick rubbery suit, broken ankles, wooden pose, goofy faceplates. Sorry to anyone actually in the chat who loves it. I just know. Sold it and took the hit. DX19 rolled along. Happy days. Nothing is immune to reissue.
Right. That's right.
So I personally don't work backwards unless it's, I don't know, if it's a closed case, like I know you got back some of your Terminators and Robocops. I just really can't see Hot Toys making them again. So that's like,
I don't either.
you know what I mean? I think that's that's a necessary.
And I watched RoboCop the other night, and I was like, I am so happy with my decision.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, you're like Dead or Alive. Who's coming with me?
Right.
So yeah, that is the number one thing. I think nothing is immune to reissue.
Yeah, and even for me, when I was newer too, I love Batman. He's my favorite superhero, and I needed that Nightmare Batman when he was at the tip top of his price, and I got it at the tip top of his price. And then a few months later, hey, we're going to reissue Nightmare Batman, and I don't really care because I don't plan on selling him, and he's in my collection. But things like that happen where you just got to be aware. I mean, you can never really pinpoint if it's going to happen or not, but just know, hey, they might reissue. Rogue One Vader, even he's getting up there in price, and now you know they're going to reissue.
Remnant Troopers, Ty has his finger on the pulse. It's going to happen, and like I think it's good to like you know, like I will if I get like a 20% discount off, and if I get something cheap, I'll definitely say it. Like, so I think it's good for brand new collectors coming in going, like, yeah, look, don't do that. I've done the stupid thing. You don't have to do it, right? Do you know? But even like, I should have known better because I got my first 2 Hot Toys in 2009. I got like the Batman, it was the Batman from the Dark Knight, was the Batman Begins suit that he starts off the movie on.
Yep.
And one of the first Heath Ledger Jokers. I've since sold them on because I'm upgrading, but like, I should have known better. I should have bought it back then. I remember looking at that because it's the sticky bomb gun and the backpack. They had me at sticky bomb gun. I should have bought it then, and I didn't. So there you go.
No, that's a really good lesson. Is you know, Shane does not collect backwards. I do in certain aspects, but I do it knowing that this could be dangerous territory. But I've also set a budget on I won't go higher than this price to collect backwards. So I've searched for figures for months and months and months before I finally found a deal that I could pull the trigger on. And I've missed out on figures because I was hesitant, but it was just, you know, it wasn't meant to be. So, you know, don't rush it. If you miss out, there'll be another one eventually. But Brother Cousins, what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned while collecting 6 scale figures?
So I got 2 of them. The first one is just to echo Shane's. It's like collecting backwards. As everybody knows, I do Good Morning Grails. Good Morning Grails Tuesdays.
Great show.
Yep. And you know, I think one of the first episodes of Good Morning Grails was the DX07, and I just had to have it. Because one, just for historical purposes, it was the first Star Wars, first Hot Toy Star Wars figure. And I'm very happy with it. But as soon as they came out with that, I can't even call it a reissue, but a 2.0. Everybody came to me and was like, "Oh, well, how do you feel? What do you think?" Oh, and I was kind of like, "Well, I mean, they needed to update it. It's not the best head sculpt. It isn't. It's 12, 13 years old, so it needed to be updated. But the only saving grace about that thing was the fact that it didn't come with the weather vane. So, the new one doesn't. So that's my thing. It was like the DX07 is still the DX07, and the new release is the new release. But you definitely gotta be careful when buying backwards. And I mean, I think that's buying backwards is a deadly game. I do it too, Bram. And I mean, even dude, I was almost enabled by you because I saw the whole thing you did with the with the Stormtrooper Luke and Han, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
damn, I want those so bad. And then I saw Luke for a good price. I was like, oh, this may be a reality. And I saw what Han was going for, and I was like, oh no, I'm staying away from this. So yeah, you got to definitely be careful. But I think this, outside of that, the second thing that I learned was, by all costs, find a lane and stay in it. Because if you don't, you will go broke, or you will end up selling you'll end up selling figures and taking hits. I mean, me personally, sometimes you guys know, it's all with Hot Toys. It's a lot of waiting. It's a lot of laws in this, especially like during the pandemic and stuff like that. And I would get bored. I would go to my local comic store and I'll see a figure that really doesn't fit the collection, but it's a Hot Toy. And I'm like, hey, this looks cool. Maybe, oh, Hellboy. I don't have any other Hellboy stuff, but let me go grab it. And amazing figure. But 2-3 months later, money was getting a little tight and figures were coming out real fast, stuff that I really wanted. And then I was like, well, damn. All right, you got to go. And then you end up, because it is a rather new figure, at that time you could still buy it from Sideshow. I ended up taking a little, not too bad of a hit, but I did take a little hit on it. Missing, $20-$30 is not that bad, but when you're doing it to multiple figures, it becomes a bad habit, especially when you're buying it, because nobody wants to buy and sell. Buy and sell is like you're renting figures. That's, I know some people may do that, and that may be fine, but it's just not feasible and not good for your budget. So find a lane, stay in that lane. If Star Wars is your jam and you want to have, even if you got to, out there, I say, even if you do decide to buy some stuff backwards just to fill gaps, because Star Wars is your thing, I can understand that more, because Star Wars is your thing. Now, if you're buying Star Wars, more like me, Star Wars, Marvels, anything from the 80s, you got to be selective. Very like I like everything. Graham, I think you're the same way. We kids of the 80s and 90s, so kind of want all that stuff. But you got to be real careful when you're doing it. So, find your lane. Like I can say my collection right now is still mainly Marvel. I think it's about 60 Marvel, 40 Star Wars, and then that 10% is like all the miscellaneous 80s stuff, Back to the Future, RoboCop and whatnot. But you have to, when you do that, you have to really cherry pick and really find the pieces that you like the most, and not go ham on just all of it, because you'll go broke. You'll go bankrupt. So
I think yeah, like you were saying, I think my collection is actually pretty split too. I think it's like, obviously I don't have as many as you, but it's like 19 Star Wars, 15 Marvel, 14 or 13. I think it's 14 DC, and then like 13 everything else, kind of mixed in there. So it's really split. But you bring up a good point, stay in your lane, and that can mean different things. Either you just collect Star Wars, or like for me, I got caught up in just thinking like, hey, this would be cool. Like I collect Star Wars, so I'll get this, but I also collect Marvel, so I'll get that. But I was starting to buy figures that didn't mean anything to me. Like I'm a big original trilogy fan, but then I was starting to get Rey because I saw her for a good deal. I got Commander Cody, who I do like the prequels, but I'm not a big Clone Wars guy. I'm not a big Rebels guy. So Commander Cody, like he looked cool, but I sold him because I'm like, why did I get this? So even though I was staying in my Star Wars lane, I was still buying figures that didn't necessarily mean a lot to me, or I didn't have that nostalgia feeling or that connection to, because I just saw a good deal, or I thought I would like it, which I did at first. But when you realize you're not really looking at that figure or playing with the figure or posing the figure, then I think that's a way too to stay in your lane. Like for me, Terminator 2 is one of my favorite movies, so I got my Terminator back because I was like, that was stupid, because I sold him to get like Darkseid Anakin, a great figure, but again, I like the prequels, but Terminator 2 is one of my favorite movies, and I thought what I thought I had to do with my collection was just do DC, just do Marvel, just do Star Wars, because how are the one-offs going to fit? But at the end of the day, it's your collection and you're the one looking at it, so who cares what it looks like? Collect what you like. And that's kind of what I did. I kind of recorrected some of that stuff where I was like, I thought I was staying in my lane, but it really wasn't. So I guess just ask yourself that question too when you're about to buy something.
Star Wars is tricky like that, especially
There's
now
so
because
much.
it's so much in the like even with the, and I know we're kind of going off topic, but even with this, even with the like the bark trooper and the speeder bikes and the sidecars and all that, and people like, oh, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. I'm like, where y'all gonna put all this stuff? Because it's like it's getting crazy now, because now you can't even stay in your lane with Star Wars because there's multiple lanes in Star Wars.
Right.
You
That's the
do,
thing, though.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep,
Just
you can
like
do all Clone Wars.
Yep.
I feel bad for people that say I just collect Star Wars. I'm like, how do you do it? We just had 10 figures drop this month.
I just rule out like the animated series. Like I feel like I've been saying I'm watching. I've been working my way through it for years because I like watch a few episodes here and there, and then I don't watch for a few months. But like I'm on like season 3. I will finish it. I know I'm gonna enjoy it, especially those last few episodes that are infamous that I really don't know much about. But I'm still not going to collect Clone Wars. When all that Clone Wars stuff drops, I just go, thank God I don't collect that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's, and
Right.
even like Book of Boba Fett, like, because it just, besides episode 5 and 6, which we all know are Mandalorian episodes, are fantastic.
Mhm.
I will not buy something from the Book of Boba Fett because I didn't like love the series. You know what I mean? But those little things, even though there's great stuff like that Ahsoka Tano from the animated series, that's amazing. But I've got the Rosario Dawson on the way, and so that's personally what I do. I just kind of go, I'm buying the things I love, but there's things that I like. I'm not
Right.
going to allow myself to buy. Do you
That's
know?
right. Really quickly, just want to give a shout out to Denobi 2. The weatherman is in the house because he's predicting some heavy thunderstorms up ahead. Expect a large downpour on Hot Toys releases and pre-orders. Make sure you have your life preservers on. Denobi's always really good at kind of reeling people in as well, and kind of giving it to you without sugarcoating it. So I always appreciate his insight into this hobby. So thank you for stopping in, Denobi. I appreciate it. And that is something, I don't know if we'll have time tonight because we got kind of a late start, but I really wanted to talk about, again, kind of the state of the world with inflation and everything, kind of what changes we're making. If we have time, we'll touch on that, but otherwise we might just have to hop into the keep, trade, sell game. But thank you, Denobi, for stopping in. Ty, how about you? What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned from collecting six scale figures?
So, like I've been collecting them like kind of off and on for some years. Uh, it's only like recently, so I'm a little less of a rookie than you are, Graham. But I'm pretty much there, like where I'm doing it pretty much on the reg now. And the one thing that got me when I was just kind of on my own, I didn't know about this community, was the payment plans, where you'd see some figures and it's like, oh, I can do a payment plan. Let me just put $20 here, $22 here, blah blah blah. Then all of a sudden they all come home to roost around the same time, and it's like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do now? Like, you got 300 here, 250 here, and all that. And I ended up having to make some hard decisions, and now they're decisions I regret. Like, I missed out on Hot Toys Vaders. I missed out on most of the Rogue One line. And I'm at a point where I have to decide, do I want to collect backwards, which is not really a good idea. And I've learned that from this community.
Right.
I have gone backwards for a couple. Like, I've gotten a New Hope Han, and I got Jen Urso.
Oof.
So I did it, and Jen Urso, like, both of them were pretty good prices, so I feel pretty good. Like, they were both under 5, so I was good for that. Um, but definitely don't want to do payment plans, like, overdo it. Like, make
Mm-hmm.
sure that the figure that you're going for, you have an attachment to it.
Yes.
Because that's what I was doing. Like, oh, this looks cool. Let me grab it. Do I really want this figure? Or am I just getting it because it's cool or it's part of this line? Like, I'm
Right.
not really worried about lines anymore.
Yeah.
And the main thing, I'd say number 2, is that attachment. Like, collect the stuff that I want, not because everyone else is doing it and they're saying, hey, this is a great figure and get this. Like, Brother Cousins, I watch his stuff all the time. Graham, I watch you. Shane, But just because you like it and you think it's great doesn't mean, oh, I got to go get it because they said
Right.
this is fantastic.
Yep.
You know, it's great, but only if you have some sort of attachment to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when they announced the DeLorean, I was like, oh, maybe I'll get that. Maybe I'll get that. But then here comes Ecto. And I had to make a choice like, well, I don't really have that attachment to the DeLorean. Like, those movies are good, but I love Ghostbusters. So I'm going Ghostbusters. I'm leaving the DeLorean alone, and I'm fine with that. So that's one of the main things I've learned is those two things, and number three, utilize your resources. Like, I didn't know this whole community existed, but
Mm-hmm.
now I do, and I tell everybody, like, just watch the videos, talk to these guys, chat with them, you know, listen to what they have to say. They're not pushing you to go buy from a certain seller. They're just like, hey, you know, this is a good figure. Maybe you might want it in your collection. Look for the best prices. You guys have great advice all the time, like, you know, about managing your money, spreadsheets, things like that. Utilize your resources.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Ty. Kind of something that you mentioned too is you said just because some of these other content creators are saying how cool it is doesn't mean that you're gonna like it. You know, that it's not for everybody. And I think another lesson would be don't give in to the hype all the time, and that's it can be dangerous. It's something that I've done in the past where I think the one that comes to mind most recently is probably when Bo-Katan. I'm getting Bo-Katan, but then they announced I'm blanking on the names. Somebody help me out.
Axe
The
Wolf?
other Axe Wolves and
Oh my god.
Casca
come on,
Reeves.
Oscar Reeves.
Oscar Reeves.
Reeves.
There you go. Mhm.
I was like, oh my god, these look awesome. I'm getting them. Yes, everybody, let's jump on a live stream. Let's get them. And now I'm just like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I still want Bo-Katan. I just don't know if I
Yeah.
need the other two because again, I don't need to be a completionist. Like, I don't know. So I'm not saying I'm not going to get them. I'm just saying like the hype's died down. There's other figures coming, and now you're kind of like, okay, well, let's be realistic here. Is there a figure that I might like more than Axe Wolves, who has a couple lines and is really just a side character? Do I want to spend the money on a side character? Some of you do want to, and that's perfectly fine. But I would just say don't give in to the hype. Just collect what you love and what has meaning to you, because again, that's what's most important. And I don't think you need to be a completionist out there either. But again, that might be what you want to do. And you might just be like, I'm a strict Mandalorian line guy. So that's perfectly fine, because as Jay said, you're staying in your lane if that's what you're doing. But with the prices going up, with the figures, the amount of figures coming in, it's just a dangerous time. Kind of like Kenobi has been saying, like, it's just dangerous time right now. And you don't want to be belly up when all these figures, hit you at once. So spend with your head, not always your heart. And I'm guilty of it as well as the next guy. I've spent with my heart. I've done it. So it's hard to recoil. And
Yeah, inner Joker.
oh, I've heard a lot of people are having second thoughts about that. I'm not sure why, but I still
I'm
think it's gonna be a
disciplined
good
until I'm not.
I think it's
That's
going to
right.
be. I think it's going to be fine.
It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna.
We're just not gonna get it for another year. That's all.
Yeah.
God, just could you imagine the absolute shit show if it's not?
I already sold my DX11. I'm one of those guys. So
Well, I only put down a deposit, so
Me too.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
and I didn't
They
get the
messed up.
rooted hair.
Well, I did get the rooted. I did
couldn't
get the rooted.
justify it.
No.
Well, if I'm gonna do it, it's like Inar's first figure, 6 scale figure, so I can have that. It'll be my first Heath Ledger Joker too.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I'm a bit of a risk taker. I'm looking up here and I've got these floating shelves, and I'm not a DIY expert. I put them up myself, which is questionable. And I've got an Iron Patriot with rocket on its shoulder and no stand.
That's living life on the edge.
Yeah, I also buy
You're a
off
brave man.
Toys Wonderland from times to points. But I don't have to get into that. And I went double pack rooted and sculpted, and I paid that stuff off straight away. I'm a risk taker, but it's a total risk. It's a total risk. But
It's a risk.
fingers
It's a
crossed.
risk. It's a
Total
risk, but
risk.
I think
As
but
long
you
as
know
you
what? I think they're
understand
gonna
it.
develop. I think they're gonna deliver on that one. I
They
don't know
have to.
about
It's
the
their
rest of
first one. They
them.
have
Yeah.
to.
If anything, they'll deliver on
Yeah.
that one. So.
If
And-
they don't, I'll never buy off them again.
And I know they're new to the sixth scale community and to the market, but I've seen their other work. I can't think it wouldn't translate over. I
Mm.
mean,
I think
will it be
it'll
perfect?
fine.
Probably not. Will they dethrone Hot Toys? No. I don't even know if they're trying to. I think they might be trying to just go for a different market, to be totally
It's
honest.
totally a different market. I look at it like this. I don't think it's gonna be you're gonna I'm buying look at my NR figures. I'm buying like 12 of the same figure and all that. I don't think we're gonna get to that point with NR. I think what's your favorite character? Oh, your favorite character is RoboCop. I'm just saying if they made it. Your favorite character is RoboCop or your favorite character is Ledger Joker. Here's the best representation of the 6 scale figure of it. There you go.
And you're paying a premium.
Exactly. I think that's what it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be, what Hot Toys has become. I don't.
Right.
Yeah, do you know it's kind of like
they're
it's
doing
like
that
it's
too,
like
yeah.
you said, Jay. You said stay in your lane. Like I stay in my lane a lot. Like I don't work backwards. I don't collect Clone Wars, even though I fancy a lot of those figures. Like I've never bought or ordered a character from a Marvel TV show because the TV shows don't. I won't go back and watch them. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I'll go back and watch The Mandalorian any day of the week, and if this Obi Wan keeps going, I will go back and watch this. But it looks things, But like I stay in my lane so much that when I do these things and I splurge a bit like that, I'm like, this is why you stay in your
can
lane,
do it.
Right.
But yeah, so fingers crossed,
I think like in art is positioning themselves as that premium figure like 1/6 scale figure manufacturer. I don't think they're necessarily, at least not now, looking to dethrone Hot Toys because Hot Toys they've got a grip on that. You're not
Mhm.
going to dethrone them. They're not going anywhere. I think they are trying to position themselves as just this premium. Like if you like this, we're going to make this figure and it's going to be all that in a bag of chips. You're going to pay extra for it, but you've got this premium figure, sort of like how Apple does their stuff.
Right.
They don't go down to the lower bargain basement. They stay at this certain level because that's what they want you to think, that they are a premium brand.
That's a good analogy. I
is.
actually like that one a
It's-
lot. Yeah.
It is. Yep.
Really quickly before we kind of get into the keep trade sell, I want to touch on this other topic as well, and I guess it kind of goes into what we've been talking about. With the state that the world is in, how have you adapted regarding collecting? Like, have you changed anything? Have you been more selective? Have you done it the same way? Shane, I mean, I'm assuming you're feeling some of the changes in your neck of the woods as well. Have things gone up in price, or is everything status quo by you?
Well, my paycheck's still the same. I filled up my car the other day. Now I just because I heard some Americans on another stream that I was on, and I was like, are they serious? Like I have it's a saloon car, and it cost me. It was like €110. So that's like 120, $30. Like so I heard people saying in America they're complaining that they could fill their car for like $55, and I was like, what? Like, what am I missing here? Like, but like that's insane. Like, it's like €2 a liter for petrol now. Like, but I think over here, like what we pay at the pump, a lot of that is government tax because our fuel is so heavily taxed. So yeah, look, if everything's going up, like everything's going up.
Yeah, and we're feeling it here too. Just for example, I don't know, Jay, you're on the East Coast, I believe. Ty, where are you at?
East Coast, New
East
Jersey.
Coast, Jersey. Okay, so here around Milwaukee, I mean, gas used to be, I don't know, a couple of years ago, $1.80, and we're paying $5.10, $5.20 now. And it's pretty much just going up every day. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard like LA area stuff is already at the $8 range, maybe $10 range. So I'm assuming it's just going to keep going up for a while. But
For us, it went up about 40 cents. over the weekend. Just over the weekend, it went up another 40 cents. And it was funny. My job today, we had a meeting and they were like, yeah, COVID numbers are going up a little bit. And I work a hybrid schedule. And they pretty much was saying, like, hey, if some of you guys want to, as people were just returning back to work, they was like, if you guys want to go back and just work from home a little bit to save some money,
nice.
go ahead and do it, because we've been working hybrid for the last 2 years, so it would make more sense for you to save money, because I don't want you guys to have economical hardships
Right.
just trying to go to work.
Right.
And and it's weird. That's what it comes down to. And it's funny, when I used to do my budget, like I would have, like, I pay all my bills, just the insight of how I do my stuff. I pay all my bills. I have my fun money, which is like, okay, this is enough a little bit for to buy Hot Toys or pre-order or whatever. And this right here is for my gas and my food. And it's got to the point where gas and food, I used to budget like, oh, this would be like a bi-weekly, this would be like a $200 or $300 here, but now it is gone up, because I've gone to the supermarket and bought, like, paid $200 for food and come out with like maybe 4 bags, maybe 4 bags. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Where
and so
I am, it's like a little bit less than $5 a gallon.
okay.
So it's still like it's still under 5, but I'm kind of in the part of Jersey that's very close to PA. Like I'm the last exit before PA, so we're getting those lower prices. So it hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
God.
like you guys said, even groceries, it's not just gas, it's groceries. It's even fast food. I've noticed going out to eat. I'm like, holy cow, I'm paying like $40 for a couple people to eat here. So it's everything. So, Shane, is there something that you've been doing differently lately to adapt to just kind of the inflated world, the costs that we're living in?
Well, look, in fairness, I'm fairly disciplined at the best of times, but now I'm being extra disciplined. Like,
Right.
Like I have 2 Sixth Scale Scavengers t-shirts, and they both say Dopo on them. I wear them ironically. Okay. So I haven't Dopoed anything in ages. Even like pre-ordering things. I did actually pre-order something this week, but I hadn't pre-ordered something in ages. I just wanted to put on a payment plan and get it paid off. But like, I could have done that 3 months ago for that same item. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. Even though I'm definitely not dopoing, I'm not pre-ordering. Come closer to those release dates, and there's 3 or 4 things I have my eye on that are all going to release during the same time. I do want them still. I still want to avail of a payment plan, but instead of like they drop and pre-ordering them, I'm going to wait until they're about to release and maybe stick them on a payment plan 3 months out, or 4 months out, so you have the majority of them paid. Does that make sense? Like, just delaying. I'm still using a payment plan, but I'm not doing it at the start of when it gets announced. It's more coinciding with the release dates. Of course, the only thing then you have to be careful about your items, because you don't want to pick an item that will inevitably be bargain bin, and you could have just exercised a bit more patience and waited. But that's a bit of a gamble as well these days. But
Right.
Delaying.
How about you, Jay? Is there anything you're doing different lately to accommodate some of these higher prices, and even just Hot Toys prices going up as well?
Yeah, definitely being more selective.
I
Definitely
think that's
being
the
more
key.
selective with stuff, and not being tempted by what I see in a local comic book shop, or just because that's me. I'll see something like, oh my god, this looks great, this will be cool, and then end up selling it. It's to the point now my wife will be like, don't go to, I have Third Eye Comics. That's my comics shop I go to here in Maryland, and we'll go, and she'd be like, don't go in there and make a mistake and buy something that you're only going to sell again. She's like, matter of fact, won't you just say that you went in there, you bought it, and you already sold it? You happy now? And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, the whole Bill and Ted method. We bought it, we sold it, it's gone. We got our money back. It's already done. So that's what I've been doing. I've been really holding back and really looking at what Hot Toys has been releasing and looking at what I want. Like, I know especially for me this year, I went real heavy with buying backwards. And even though I got a show about it and everything, don't be like me. I tell everybody, don't do that. A lot of these pieces were things that I wanted and I saved for and I planned for. Like the Ghostbusters, it was a plan. It wasn't planned, but it was planned. The idea was, I remember at the start of the year, I was like, I'm going to get the Ghostbusters this year somehow. Don't know when. It was when I really started to research it, it started to become a reality. And then I saw a price that was just too good to turn down, and the money was there at the time. So I was like, okay, let's do that. I'll do that. But also doing that, I know it was other things that I couldn't get. So that like kind of cut like my budget completely, like pretty much, to be honest with you, kind of like erased my budget for the year. So I had to go back and plot like, okay, what can I sell? I have props that look good, but I don't need them. I don't need like
Right.
12 lightsabers. So I can sell some of those and get some of that money back. And that's how I was able to rebuild my budget. But yeah, my thing is in short, not to be so long with it, but just to be very picky and staying and picking a lane and staying in it and being picky on what you want. Not
Right.
everything looks good. To be honest with you, Hot Toys does an excellent job. They knock it out the park damn near 8 times out of 9. It's very rarely that they put out a piece of shit.
Peacemaker.
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 Piece
So,
of shit maker.
And even with that, the final hasn't come out yet, so we don't
Right.
know.
That's true.
That's
Right.
true.
We don't know, but
Very
you
true.
have to. But it just really comes down to what you really want. Graham, like you said, like Terminator is your jam. Get that.
Right.
As I thought about it, Ghostbusters was my jam. It's very rare that Blitzway remakes stuff or does 2.0s or brings it back out. So that's where I was like, okay, let me go get these. I like it. It's my thing. Yeah, I paid a lot for it, but every day I look at them, they make me happy, and to me, that's priceless. So if that's just how I look at it. But the biggest thing is be very picky, be very selective, pick something and know where. And I say this, know where your ass is. Know where your ass is at. If you can't swing it, or if you got to put it on a credit card, maybe you shouldn't buy it.
Right.
Or if you do put it on a credit card, can you pay it down in a minimum of 2
Right.
months? That's my rule of thumb. If I can't pay it down in 2 months, then I don't need it. So,
Right.
Can I just come in on that? That's a good. You reminded me of something there, Jay. Something that I have been doing. Sometimes, like if I'm at work and I've got like a ton of stuff to do, what I like to do is just like do a brain dump, just like write down all the different things, no matter how big, if they're like 2-minute jobs, 10-minute jobs, or like a job that'll take you a week or whatever. Like jot them all down, then prioritize. Like so, sometimes the figures do the same thing. For wish list, even if I think about getting it for like one moment or fleeting moment, I'll put it down. So you've got this big long wish list dumped down, where you write it down or do it on your phone or whatever.
Mhm.
And then I'll start ranking them. There's a great app called Google Keep where you can just rank them, and I'll keep re-ranking them and just work off the top 5-10% because they're the ones you really want. Like
there you go.
you're not gonna.
There you go.
It'd be illogical to, if there's 30 figures on the list, to start off with the bottom. You work off in that first top 3. They're the ones I'm going to pre-order, and you probably, chances are the ones on the bottom half of that list, you'd be like, yeah, I don't really want them anyway. Give it enough time. Don't pre-order. Have patience.
Exactly.
So Jay, yeah, you had a good point. Be selective, but apparently the fellas in the chat think that they have a better option out there, and that's
Ooh.
we don't need to eat every day. Seriously, a
I
day
was gonna
saved in
say-
food can go into 2 to 3 hot toy deposits.
They are on fire.
Bob Dylan says interval fasting is great for collecting. Empty stomach equals full detox. So there's other options out there too. It's just you just don't eat.
Yep.
Oh my! This one's a little much, Joel. He says, and you'd be amazed how long
Oh,
children can go without eating. Okay,
Oh my God.
that's a joke.
That's
YouTube, it's just a joke.
Julius.
Just a joke. But yeah, Ty, really quickly, let's just finish up with this so we can just get into the Hot Toys game. What's one thing, if anything, that you're doing just differently, kind of this day and age with prices on everything going up?
So to be real quick about it, like what Shane and Jay have already said, and you as well, Graham, is pick that lane and stay there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not worried about getting everything. It's what do I have an attachment to? Like what appeals to me? I'm not worried about what everybody else does. It's what I want, and I just stay there. I've become very picky about it. I've whittled down. I've pretty much gotten rid of most of my MCU stuff, and I'm going with what I really love: Batman, Star Wars, and one-offs.
Yeah, and really quickly too, I think if there is a figure that you really like, use your collection to fund your collection. You know,
Yep.
there's always I don't know, I'm pretty good at disconnecting if I really need to. Like I have two Vaders that I really love. I have the Rogue One and then Empire Strikes Back, but I'm already telling myself like, do I need two Vaders? I've had that Empire Strikes Back since I had like 4 figures in the collection, but if I really want something else, it might have to go. So, just I guess thinking that way as well. But all right, guys. So I know for you guys on the East Coast too, it's getting kind of late, and for Shane, it's getting really early. So
For Shane, it's like Thursday.
Dude, you're in the future.
right.
I have tomorrow off work. It's grand.
So that's right. You're not working anymore. So
That makes it sound terrible. I do still have a job. I just have
so we have this game called Keep Trade Sell that I brought a couple weeks ago to trial with Mario, my friend, and I thought it went really good. It's kind of a strategic game. Basically, we're going to have 3 figures that the panel can and the chat can join into this as well. But you can keep one in your collection. One of them you'd have to trade, and you can trade for like something of kind of equal value, or what would you trade it towards? And then one you would just sell and pocket the money. So it's been kind of a fun game. So I just want to play that with the fellas here on the panel, and we're going to start with Marvel. Marvel's been quiet, but everybody knows that Iron Man is definitely something that is very popular and people collect. So the first one is going to be the Iron Man Mark 7, which comes with a ton of features. The brand new Mark 5, which I think looks stunning.
Yes.
But then we also have the Mark 85, the clean version, but this is the last Iron Man that we see in Endgame. So some of you might be like, well, it's the Ultimate Iron Man because it's the last one we see. So with that, does anybody want to start first?
I'll go.
Okay. He's like, I got this. Go ahead, Ty.
I will keep the Mark 7. I will sell the Mark 5 and trade the 85.
Okay. And what made you want to keep the 7?
Means a little bit more to me, like being, that first one, like you're saying, it matters more. Like the 85 is nice, but I have good memories of the 7.
Okay. Jay, you want to hit us up next?
Oh man, I think it may
Do
be the same.
you guys have any of these on the panel?
Yeah.
I do not.
Only one I don't have is Mark 5, and he's actually, that's the one I don't pre-order anymore, but I did pre-order this one from Sideshow because I can wait on it. It wasn't a Toys Wonderland purchase, but I can wait on it. So when that drops, I'm definitely getting this one. But I will keep Mark 7. Absolutely. I would trade 85. And I would sell the 5. I would sell the Mark 5.
And if you sell the 85, you're probably not going to be making any money because this guy can probably be found for what? $350.
$10.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Or get it free from Toys Wonderland.
Right.
There you
If they ship you out the right figure.
Right.
All right, so you would keep the 7 as well. Shane, do you own any of these?
I've got the Battle Damage 85, so no, I don't own any of these in the
Okay.
screen. But I'm thinking, I like the way you're thinking though, because like selling the 85, you wouldn't get much. I'd have to keep. I think I'd keep the Mark 5 because it's so different to the other ones. Whereas, like, I have the Mark 6 and the color combination with the red, gold, and silver is quite similar, and it's bulky as well. Whereas the Mark 5 is unique and you get the suitcase. I'd keep the Mark 5. I'd sell the 7 because I think the price is starting to climb up on that one a little.
A little bit. It's still hitting around retail, like 425, 440, something around there on eBay.
Yeah. And then I trade the Mark 85 for a trooper helmet of some sort.
Okay.
It's a trooper, for some cheap trooper or something. Yeah.
All right. I think I'm with you on this one, Shane, a little bit. I thought at first I was going to keep the 85, but I'm going to get a little strategic on you guys here. I'm going to keep the 5. I've owned the 7, and I currently own the 85. I sold the 7. I really like how that suit looks, but I can't stand the finicky parts on it where they always fall off whenever I move the figure, and
They do.
the shoulder pieces and
Yep.
the flaps and everything. So I just got really annoyed with it. But it's a great figure. But I think I'm gonna keep the 5 just because it does look really cool. I like the silver and the red. I'm gonna trade the 85 for whatever I could get it around that price. And then I'm going to sell the 7. And here's where I'm going to get really strategic. I'm going to sell the 7 to get the 85 battle damage so that I still have a variant of the 85 in the collection.
That's smart. That's the way to do it. The Mark 7 is one of my favorite Hot Toys figures ever. That's probably one figure that I would. I love that figure. I love that. Yeah.
All right, let's see what you guys in the chat say. I think the 7's going to be the one that stays in the collections, but we'll see. So we have keep Mark 7, keep the Mark 7. I won the Mark 7 in a contest, so I'm keeping that one. Here we go, Bob Dylan. The Mark 5. Oh, well, the Mark 5 is cool, but had the least screen time. That's true.
Nope.
And and again, that's what's so cool about this game. It depends on how you think about things. Is it a nostalgia feeling? Is it just because you like the figure, or is it, he says it doesn't have a lot of screen time. That's very true. Keep the 7. Ooh, sell the 7, keep the 5, and trade the 85. Bob Dylan also says the Mark 7 is the only suit that can transform, so it's special.
Yep.
Maverick Collector is heading out. Thanks for watching. He said it's 4:30 a.m. where he's at, so get some sleep. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. What does El Profesoro say? Keep the 85. He's always in the minority with this stuff. Need that for the display. And that was what I was thinking originally, is because I have an end game thing going on. But if I could trade for the battle damage, I probably would. Sell the Mark 7, cash out, and trade the Mark 5. Big Breda says 350. It's 240 here now. The battle damage one.
Jeez. Wow. Ooh, that went down. Ooh.
Keep 7, trade 85, sell 5. Denobi says he likes this game, but he would keep. Yeah. Good thing it's just hypothetical. Yeah, everybody would keep the 7. All right, let's go on to the next one here. It's going to get tougher. This is more of like a one-off thing.
Damn.
So I'll tell you right away, I don't own any of these. We have the Indiana Jones, which is the DX4. I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
And the Jack Sparrow DX15, and then the Doc Brown from Back to the Future 2. I almost put actually the Michael Jackson one here and did all DX figures, but I didn't know how popular that the Michael Jackson, the DX one, was of that one. So I just went with Doc Brown here, but that'd be an interesting one too. Do any of you have that Michael Jackson one? I know Kiko does. I'm
actually in talks with Anthony right now and getting one.
Okay.
Somebody has one, because I actually sold my Thriller Michael Jackson years ago.
Man.
I shouldn't have did that.
We all make those mistakes. There's a lesson learned.
I know, but I told myself, I was like, I'm selling the Thriller one, but I'm gonna get the I'm Bad one. I'm gonna get that DX one day. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to capitalize and get that.
All right, Shane, start us off.
Which one of these would I get the most money for?
The Indiana Jones goes for a pretty penny. I'd say 700-800.
Yeah.
Typically.
See, I'm not the biggest fan of any of these 3 franchises, but if I had to pick one, I gravitate towards the right. I've seen them all. It's just I don't collect any of them. That's what I'm saying. Like, now that DeLorean hover converted, I could get on board with that. So I'm thinking I would sell Indy. I'd keep Doc, and I'd use the money from Indy to get myself a DeLorean. And then I try and trade Jack Sparrow for a Marty or something like that. That'd be my plan.
That's a good plan. And that Jack Sparrow is 500 to 600.
Yeah.
I think
So I could
Doc
get
is
a-
still hanging around 5 to 6 too, if
Yeah.
I'm correct.
Yep.
So that you could nearly try and wait and trade it for the Marty that's out and the other Doc. Isn't there a new Doc coming out?
That's right.
Yes, from Back to the Future 1. That was one of the last figures I pre-ordered before I stopped pre-ordering. So, Ty, how about you? Any of these even interest you to keep?
Yes, and I'm starting to not like this game. So Indiana Jones has like a special place for me, like as a kid, like watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I'm gonna keep him. I will trade Jack Sparrow, although I really wanted this figure. Like, it's just a phenomenal looking figure. I'll trade him, and I'll sell Doc, and use the money from Doc to put towards my J&D Batman statue.
Nice.
There you go.
All right, brother Cousins.
I think I got this. Okay.
Do you own any of these? Do you own Doc?
Doc? I own Doc. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep Doc. I'm going to keep him there. I'm going to sell Indy because I don't have him. I'm gonna sell Indy. And then I'm going to trade Jack Sparrow. And I'm going to take the money that I made from Indy to buy another DeLorean.
I can't even get one. This guy's talking about getting two.
There we go.
I like it. I'm a big Indiana Jones fan. I watched the films as a kid, but the figure's so old that it is really, I think, out of date with the likeness to Harrison Ford. If they made a Indiana Jones now, I would definitely be on board. But I've looked at this one, and it comes with a lot of cool stuff too. He's got the whole like temple, the thing that that golden head sits on. Comes with a lot of cool stuff. So he's selling for pretty penny as well. I do own the Jack Sparrow, the DX6, and I know Big Breda said that the DX15 is one of the best works from Hot Toys. The reason I found a cheap DX6, but the other reason that I can't get on board with this DX15 is the rooted hair. It seems to wing out too much for me. I don't know. It just doesn't. It takes away from the figure where the other one is sculpted and it kind of just lays flatter. I don't know, but I love this base, and it looks really cool.
Want that figure? So.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell Indy and just take the money and run. I think I'm going to keep the Jack Sparrow, though, because I still want this figure, but I still think the DX6, the figure looks a little bit better in the head area. And I think I'm going to sell the Doc Brown because I'm going to pick up the Back to the Future 1 Doc Brown, which is, to me, my favorite of the 3 movies. So I want that original Doc Brown. So, cash in on Indy. Buy yourself a DeLorean. All right, let's see what you guys in the chat said. One of you said, "I won't play this one. Sorry." Thanks, Joao. Sell Sparrow, trade Indy, keep Brown, keep Indy, sell Jack, trade Doc, sell Doc, trade Indy, keep Jack, sell Indy, keep Sparrow, trade Doc. Yeah, kind of all over the place here. Big Breda, he also said, it'll never leave his collection, the DX15. We're keeping Jack. We're going to sell Indy because the new movie is coming. New Indy figure.
I haven't checked yet, but I'm guessing the price is shot up on Jack Sparrow since the whole thing with the trial.
A little bit. I don't know if it's shot up, but it's definitely become more popular, I would think.
He was a casualty of me and the pre-orders, like having too many. Like I ended up cutting him.
Wow.
I regret that.
Well, we can't win them all, can we?
Nope. No, we can't. And I lost quite a few.
We're gonna finish off the night with some Star Wars, guys.
Oh no.
All right, we have some more
Ugh.
Grails. We have
Whew.
Obi-Wan. We have Tarkin, and we have Han Solo, all from the original trilogy.
This is hard.
Obi-Wan's price is going through the roof right now. Tarkin has been steady.
Yep.
Han
bet.
Solo's been up there. So, Jay, I'll start with you on this one.
Shit. Man, this is hard. Oh my
I'm
god.
out.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Oh
out.
my gosh. Yeah. Oh my god.
Damn it.
Han, keeping Han. Keeping Han. I'm so sorry. I'm keeping Han. All right, so I'm gonna keep Han. I'm going to sell Obi-Wan. Oh, that just saying that hurts. Jeez. I'm gonna sell Obi-Wan, but take the money and I'm gonna trade Tarkin. Oh man, I could.
What would you trade Tarkin for?
What would I trade?
You get another.
It would
You
have
get
to
a
be-
Revenge
it
of the
would
Sith Obi-Wan.
I would trade Tarkin to get Palpatine on the throne.
Okay.
I think that's the only thing I think that could justify that losing a Tarkin. But
Do you own all three of these?
I do.
Okay.
That's why it hurts. It's like I would trade. I wouldn't.
He's gonna have nightmares about this tonight.
Yeah, this is hard. This is awful. But yeah,
Why would you keep Han? Just because he's kind of like one of that main characters from the OG?
He's one of the main characters, and I mean he's flying the cockpit right now. So if I get rid of him, I mean I'm gonna put Ray there. No.
Right.
I mean I could. I mean, but I wouldn't forgive myself. But and then also sentimental value. I think the Han and Chewie 2-pack were my first Hot Toys. My first Hot Toys Star Wars figures.
Okay.
So that 2-pack. Once I got that 2-pack, I was like, oh wow. So I definitely would. I wouldn't want to break up the band. Getting rid of him. So he's definitely he definitely be kept. And selling the Obi-Wan, even though it would suck, we still that's Alec Guinness though. That's a classic actor. I got a thing about that. But at least I would have a Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. I have a human Obi-Wan.
You get a variant at least.
I got a variant at least.
You could also sell or trade Han for the Stormtrooper Han. But
yeah, damn, that was.
But that's not the Han Solo either.
Right, but yeah. Ooh, that's good. You're tricky. Ooh, but that's a good one.
All right, so you're gonna keep Han?
I'm keeping Han.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Ty. What would you do here? Talk us through it.
Man, why are you doing this?
It's fun. It passes the time.
Well, since I bought backwards to get Han, I'm gonna keep Han. So I actually have that figure. I think I will sell Obi-Wan and I would trade Tarkin for like a Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan.
Okay. That's good planning right there.
No.
I don't like this game anymore.
Ty, do you own any of these?
I own Han.
Okay.
Like I bought back to get him, yeah.
Right. That's right. You did say that. All right. So so far 2 for 2 keeping Han. Shane, what would you do?
This is the hat trick here. I'd have to keep Han because the way Harrison Ford is, it's like you're not going to see him again. I don't think.
Right.
I don't have one, so I'd keep Han. Obi-Wan, I'd probably sell Obi-Wan and try and get. That's, I suppose, ties into the conversation we had earlier on about maybe if when they do the Obi-Wan from the new show, that could be my representation of Obi-Wan.
There you go.
And then trade Tarkin, and between selling Obi-Wan and trading Tarkin, maybe try and get the A New Hope Leia. Yeah, I think that's what I do.
Okay. I only own Han. I have not owned the other ones. I've kept an eye out for the Obi-Wan, but again, going backwards, he's out of my price range, so I pretty much just look for some sort of a deal or a loose figure or something. Yeah, I mean, I got my Han Solo for a deal because I got him loose. So that's another thing that you guys can do too.
That's right.
Just keep a lookout for loose figures and then buy the box for like $25. That's exactly what I did. And I did this within the last 6 to 8 months. I got Han Solo used loose for $250,
Wow.
and then I got the box for like $25. The only thing
Nice.
he's still missing is the base, but again, I'm not too concerned about that right now. I don't plan on selling him, so that would lead me into keeping Han Solo because, yeah, he is just that prominent figure, that character.
He's my guy.
And it is tempting to just say, well, I'll just keep the Stormtrooper figure because that head sculpt looks amazing as well.
Damn good. Yes.
But I think I'm going to trade Obi Wan, and it would be for just probably another Grail that I was looking for. And I think I would sell Tarkin just because I think he's a great looking figure, but I don't have the connection with him. He's not a prominent character, so I think he would be the easiest one for me to sell. So I think that's what I would do. Keep Han, sell Tarkin, and trade Obi-Wan. All right. Everybody said this was a tough one.
Yeah.
And Mario said some mean words as well during the process.
That
Yeah,
Tarkin's
keep
a great
Han.
head sculpt.
Keep Han. Yeah, I think it's a little easy because I think most of us would keep Han. I kind of want to see if anybody would keep somebody other than Han. Here we go. Pedro says keep Kenobi, sell Tarkin, trade Solo. Oh, Mario is with us. He's going to keep Han.
Yep.
Joao's with us as well. Trumbull Dust is just going to bow out of this one. Yep, keep Han. So yeah, it seems like the majority would keep Han Solo. So yeah, that was Keep Trade Sell, brought to you by the Jedi Knights Watch himself. Hopefully you guys on the panel and in the chat enjoyed playing that game. Luckily for us, it's just a hypothetical game where we don't really have to sell our figures. So you guys can go back to looking at the figures you have and you don't have to worry about selling them.
That was hard. That was like selling my children, man.
I know it's tough, but yeah, I think we're going to call it a night because it is getting kind of late. I know you guys on the East Coast need to get some shut-eye. Same here. It's getting late here too. So thank you guys all for being on the show. Before we get to each and every one of you on what's kind of going on your channels, want to just ask you guys to take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and subscribe to my friends' channels as well. I have put the link to their YouTube channels and their IG profiles in the description below, so you can find that pretty easily. All great dudes here, and it's really what this whole thing is about, is just hanging out with great people in this great community that we all love. So I thank you all for being a part of it. Shane, good to see you, my man. I know it's been a little bit. What have you been up to, my friend?
Sorry, I need to sit up straight. This the later it gets, the lower I go. Yeah, I started doing live streams during the week, and I really found it a lot of fun. So thank you to anyone who's popped in or commented or anything like that. So I'm going to continue on with my normal kind of content. So pre-order preview videos, and I've been slacking on my figure focused videos where I just take one figure from my collection, pose it up in 3 different ways so people can get an idea of what it might look like on their shelf. So I need to definitely get back into swing. I think the DX19 I'm looking at here, definitely a good one to start that with that. What the next thing I'm supposed to do on Thursday, I'm actually on a stream with Ben, the attention seeking geek. So he would join us on Leia's channel every Sunday, and he just does like a post Kenobi show. Basically, we chat about what happened in Kenobi on Wednesday. So looking forward to that. Back on Leia's channel next Sunday for Collector's Lounge, and yeah, I'm going to start doing live streams. I think KG is going to be, there's 3 live streams I'm doing. One's called The Focus, where I just hop on and just kind of wing it. Another one's called Visions, where I just do one-to-one chat with a collector, talk about the past, present, and future of their collecting. And then another one is the No Loyalty live stream, where it's kind of like a game. This is the idea where maybe 2 or 3 YouTubers sit down, or collectors, and we just pick out a figure and go, right, let's see who can find it the cheapest, just for a bit of fun.
Oh, that's fun.
But yeah, the YouTube is 16 Figure Focus, and on Instagram at 16 Figure Focus. So thanks very much for having me.
What so what time would your streams be for me? Do you know the
We could work around it. We could work
conversation?
around it.
the conversion, I guess, because I want to at least watch them too. But
Yeah. It depends. Like now, because obviously, I'm off for the summer, but I've still have to go in for the next week or two. But it's not the same, so just no classes. But it depends. I've been kind of streaming around anywhere between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock, Greenwich Mean Time or Irish time. So 10 p.m. is about 5 p.m. for you, I think.
Okay.
Because are you New York time then? You're 5 hours behind.
I'm actually central, so I'd be 6 hours behind. So probably
All
like
right, yeah.
4
So
o'clock
10
for me.
p.m. for me is 4 o'clock, or if it was midnight, it'd be what's 6 p.m. But yeah. So we went around that kind of time, like. But KG said he's up for being the first kind of guest on Visions. So
That's awesome.
I'm gonna contact him. I'll work something out and just be kind of put the just chat to him, and it's kind of like that meme, how it started, how it's going,
Yeah.
where you think it's gonna go. So yeah.
That's awesome. Brother Cousins, thank you so much for being on. I'm glad we finally hooked up again. It's always a pleasure having you on the channel. What's going on? I know you got your Good Morning Grails tomorrow, which for a while threw me for a loop because I was thinking it was Friday, and then it was on Tuesday. It's like, damn it. But what else is going on?
Definitely. Once again, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we were able to, connect and make it today. Try to get back on here. Just, you know how it is with the kids.
No, I'm limited too, man. It's like,
God, oh goodness. But yeah, tonight I had tonight to myself. My wife and her wife and the kid are spending the night with her mother tonight. So I'm like, oh, I get a free night to myself. So
There you
I'm
go.
happy. Gonna go crazy and have pizza and stream. I love it.
Nice.
It's like being a teenager all over again.
Home Alone.
Exactly. But yeah, I got Good Morning Grails tomorrow. We're going to be opening up Marty McFly from Back to the Future 2. That's going to be great. That's going to be tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. So be there. And if you don't get to watch it that early, watch it on the playback. It still helps.
Right.
And then we're also doing Best of the Best on Thursday, so that's going to be great. Still getting the panel together with that, and that's going to be awesome. And I believe I'll be on Say What with Leo on Wednesday as well. So yeah, full week, and then Saturday with Anthony of Sixth Scale Mafia. So that's
you are a busy guy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ty, being your first time on the show, I hope you had fun. Thank you for all the support that you've given the channel as well, just by watching, commenting, and being active. So I'm glad that you were able to make it as well. It was fun being able to just connect with you, learn more about you as a collector and as a person. So what's going on your channel?
Absolutely. First, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, especially being on with these guys, because I watch it. I try to watch every Monday.
I appreciate it.
So now that I'm not under the weather like I was before, I am working on a video for Snowspeeder Luke. Nice. And I do have another one lined up after that with the X06 Captain Janeway. Nice. I just got Alita from Fabio. So shout out to Fabio. Thank you very much. So I plan on doing some stuff with that too.
And Fabio sold you one of his 4 Alitas?
One of his 4,000.
4,000.
Yes. It's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show again tonight. Thank you guys in the chat for making it a really fun time. You guys were on fire tonight, so it definitely entertained me. I know that for sure. But my channel did the Batman logo light, just a cheap one from Sideshow. Wasn't sure what it would be like, so I just I bought it, and I did a review on that. You can check that out. This week, if I have time, I want to do maybe the top 5 figures in my collection. Oh, he's got it. He's got that logo light. It's not bad. But nice. It's not Hot Toys quality. No. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much same as usual. So yeah, just again, subscribe if you haven't already. We have a lot of fun, keep it lighthearted, and we're all about community here. So Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a great night. Until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon. See you guys.